videos, as you can see, Dubster dive. It's a pun. Because we're diving into the dubs of everything. So, wait, what? These towers updated? Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna do these towers in the background so people have something to look at. Anyway, so, Saint Seiya. When did you first get into the series, before we get into that? Then I'll break down its history and everything.
Oh, shit. I can't remember when I first got into it.
Was it with the dick dub?
I do believe so, then I quickly ran away from that and went to the sub version.
Well, for those of you that aren't familiar, Saint Seiya is a shonen series written by, I'm going to butcher this, Masami Kurumata, and was animated by Toei in 1986. Hilariously enough, if you look it up, it ends April 1st, 1989. Imagine that on April Fool's. Sure, if you looked it up, you can see it also got cancelled too. And it wasn't until 2001 when it came back with the Hades arc. Which, speaking of that history is also hilarious. ADV would announce at Otakon in 2002 they've got dub rights for it. But then it was announced in June of 2003 that they only had sub-license to it, and Dick were the ones who had the full rights.
Sonya Blade calling in air support.
Actually, how much of this did you look into?
Of what?
The Saint Seiya dub history.
All I know is they had the AVD, then they had the Dick dub, and that's all I know.
Yeah, strangely, ADV and Dick's dubs went on at the same time.
I never knew that.
Yeah,
That's
it was really bizarre. Yeah, and so the Dick dub, which is heavily censored and edited, aired on Cartoon Network in 2003, and it got canceled 13 episodes in. 32 episodes in, and it was supposed to air 40 episodes. While the ADV dub went from 2003 all the way until 2005. And that was the one that was uncut. And here's the other thing I found out. So ADV, Goku, went up to F60, right?
Mm-hmm.
The main reason wasn't because of they went under or anything like that. It's because Dick only licensed them 60 episodes. They wouldn't give them any more. So that's why it was canceled.
End of the line.
Of course, Dick, I don't think dub anime anymore. No one likes them anyways. They were familiar with the Sailor Moon stuff.
All they're known now as Deke.
I think that is how it's pronounced, as Deke. I just call them Dick because it's funny.
Or whatever hell, I still see some Disney shows with that shit on it.
Yeah, sadly, ADV would go under as well in September of 2009, taking the Saint Seiya license along with them for years. And from what I saw, Discotheque and Eastern Star would get the rights to Saint Seiya, with some getting the license to the movies and the other one getting the license to the series. So their releases wouldn't have any English dub at all. Who's even in this ADV dub? Okay, yeah. Seiya's Illich Guardiola, and this dub even has Vic Mignogna, and we're coming back to this dub later. That is going to be hilarious. Yes, I can't wait for that. Regardless, though, the Saint Seiya dub would go dormant for many years until, in August of 2017, Netflix would save the day by announcing a remake nobody wanted.
Debating my existence that I don't even know that I don't even call it's real.
Yeah, so the remake, which was ironically titled Knights of the Zodiac, named after the dub of Seiya, I don't know why they decided to do that, would air July 19th, 2019. And got mostly negative reviews from anything I can look up. And we'll probably break down the remake of that at a later date too. The remake has some issues. regardless, because of the backlash, it's presumed that's why Netflix would then go on and put out their own dub of the original Saint Seiya, which would come out on October 15th of last year. And currently the dub has all the way up to episode 73, which is the end of the Sanctuary arc. Actually, did you end up finishing that?
Not yet.
Well, quick breakdown of the plot of Saint Seiya. More or less the TLDR. It's about a group of 5 saints, which are another form of knights, I guess, that each have cloths, or armor, based on the constellations, and they each have unique special abilities called Cosmo, which is another form of ki. And they are all gathered to defend the goddess Athena from other Olympian deities from taking over the world. Again, it's way more complicated with that, you've got family drama with some of the saints, as well as other saints changing sides with face and heel turns, WWE style. Again, highly recommend watching it. It especially gets really good once you get to the Sanctuary arc on episodes 41 onward. But I guess now it's time to get to the dubcast. So, Seiya is played by Bryson Bogwis, or as most people know him, Bell from Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon. What did you think of him as Seiya?
Actually pretty good.
Yeah, he does the job of giving the good, normal hero vibe or whatever.
But one thing is, every time I hear him, I always think of Bell, no matter what.
Everyone does. Everyone does. There's also, I guess, Hyoga, we'll move on to him, voiced by Patrick Poole, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and the only other credit I saw from when I looked him up is the anime adaptation of Amnesia, so he hasn't been in that much from what I could tell, but I think he did alright as Hyoga. What did you think of him?
Pretty good too.
Yeah. I think, earlier on you could tell that he was trying to get into the role, because you could tell a lot of these people definitely got better as they went on. The first couple of episodes were weird to get used to. Shiryu is the next one, voiced by Blake Shepard. Most of you would probably know him as Selma from Food Wars. And again, I also think he did a great job. Him and Seiya, I feel, are probably two of the best ones in this dubcast. What did you think of Shiryu?
Like I said, they pretty much got the all same characters to fit, except for one. We'll get to that later.
Yeah. Next is... we're saving one for last. Most Seiya fans will know. Next, we'll move on to Iki, voiced by Adam Gibbs, as most people would know him as Protag-kun from Parasite Maxim.
And here's one thing, is they changed his name in the remake of this Netflix dub.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk more on that when we get to the Netflix reboot. Stupid. Yeah, in the OG dub, they have the old names. It's in the reboot where they changed them, and it's really frustrating. But again, I think he did a great job as Iki, who I guess some people consider Iki to be the original Sasuke, or, anti-hero. I kind of agree with that. You could see inspiration for characters such as Vegeta, Sasuke all throughout him. Then we have Saori, voiced by Emily Meads, who people would probably know her as Ali from Kakurayo, or Chelsea from Akame ga Kill. And again, I think she did a great job, great casting for it. She knew how to be empowering when she needed to be, or sound imposing when, or vulnerable. That's it. Alright, Goku, it's time for the last main without the reboot butchered.
Hashtag, you're dead.
Soon. Or, the reboot, here's the drama with that. The reboot had changed Shun into Shun, and changed their gender for some reason. I don't understand why. For those of you that don't know, Shun uses the Andromeda constellation, and he's basically androgynous and very, I guess, effeminate would be the term. So Netflix took it upon themselves in the remake to try changing his gender for more female representation. Again, we'll get way more on that in the reboot, but because of this, it's hard to track down who voices him in the original dub that Netflix put out for Saint Seiya. Because in the remake, it's listed as Lucy Christian, the voice of Hestia from John Machi, that was on the Pick Up Dungeon. But in the new and the old Netflix dub of Saint Seiya, I have no idea who voices him. Because every time I try typing it in, it just keeps pulling her up. And I'm pretty sure she's not, that does not have the voice of the dude.
Maybe one of these times when I get done watching one of the episodes and I have to watch the end credits of Netflix because they usually have the names of the English voice actors, I have to see if they even have it up there.
Well, the only name I could find is Andrew Sebastian, who's, if that's the case, a voice actor who doesn't even have a Wikia page or IMDb. So I don't think that's accurate. If it is, he's very new then. So take that with a grain of salt, I guess. Regardless, whoever Shun is, I think they did a great job also voicing him. We then have the rest of the cast being rounded out by Pope Ares, who's Dave Matrenga. Most of you would know him as Todoroki from My Hero Academia. Again, think he did a great job as, I guess, well, it's not really a spoiler, it's pretty obvious he's the main villain.
If people played the games, they should know about that stuff. If people played the games, you know.
Yeah, but for those who haven't seen the anime, you find out pretty early on.
It's not hard.
Again, great job as the main villain. You can really tell that he enjoyed playing that. You also have the rest of the cast. Shunrei, one of the other female recurring characters, voiced by Hilary Haag, who most of you would also know as Millie Ruka from Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls and Guns? They got a lot of those VAs from that show in this. Again, I think she did an awesome job. You also have David Wald, or the voice of Gajiel from Fairy Tail. He was in this dubcast. Again, great job. And of course, everyone's favorite. Actually, Goku, did you ever see who voiced Scorpio in the new dub?
Not yet.
It's Kage. And again, yeah, again, I think he did a great job as Scorpio. You could tell he had a lot of fun. And of course, you have other veterans like John Swayze, the voice of Crocodile from One Piece. And the one other thing about this dub I couldn't figure out was who ADR directed it. So again, so I know that's one thing people like knowing is, well, who directed this? I have no idea. The ADV dub was done by John Swayze, but I don't know if he also did the Netflix dub, so I can only assume he did. Overall, though, I do think this was definitely a strong dub cast. What did you think of the dub overall?
Like I said, pretty good. Like I said, they got them spot on with the characters. They actually show emotion, unlike the other dub they had by a certain company that shall not be named anymore. Yes. The one that had the Bowling for Soup opening.
Yep. There was one thing I noticed, and this is with this dub, which is done by Sentai Filmworks, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know.
Powers of Time.
For some reason, Goku, you might have noticed this if you listen really closely. There are moments where the background voices are not dubbed, where they're in Japanese.
Yeah, I heard that. Definitely with the at the start of the show when
Yeah, the
you know,
Galaxian tournament arc.
Yeah. Also, I'm like, what the heck? I hear Japanese and American. It's like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, those. I know the correct term for those. Why does it want me to do a tower? I'm trying to do one in the background. Stop it. Anyway, I know the correct terminology for those is called Wawa or something like that, where it's just, you know, mumble voices. But again, if you listen really closely, you can tell that they definitely didn't dub those. It's a little jarring, and I know that's a Sentai thing, because I've noticed in other shows that they put out they don't dub them either. I guess they figure, well, no one will notice. I guess that's my only gripe with this dub as a whole. Also, you'll notice a few instances of double casting. I mentioned David Wald is in this dub before. He plays several characters, but that's to be expected when it's a show that's over 100 episodes. Guess we can move on from the dub itself, though, towards animations. Don't they use the HD version on Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
That's from the Blu-rays, so everything's remastered.
Yeah. Something like that. They probably got the mastering for the Blu-rays from the original creators. If I remember correctly, I think it was Toei that has it or something.
Yeah, Toei's
like
the ones who animated this.
Yeah, so they got the master recordings from Toei, so yeah, I would love them if Netflix would put
out the Blu-rays.
Blu-ray.
I agree with you. I definitely picked these up. I can't judge animation, obviously, but from Goku's point of view, he's saying it looks good. So you're saying it looks much better than the old ADV stuff?
Actually, I did a side-by-side comparison. The original one is very faded and very bleached out. Now with the Netflix version, it's like more brighter, more vibrant colors. The water actually looks like water, doesn't look like green sludge.
Yeah, so they definitely did a good job with that then.
So basically, Captain Planet hasn't been around yet. The third planet. I just had to put that in there.
It's fine. Yeah, so animation looks great from Netflix's point of view. They did a good job with that.
I love the soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack, that was another... I was going to move on to that. It definitely has that classic 80s martial arts film to it. You know, like the old Bruce Lee movies.
It's just like, you can compare it to, like, Fist of the North Star. Them two came from the same era.
Yeah, both came from Toei. 80s. I know I'm going to piss people off by saying this. I actually prefer Seiya's soundtrack over the original DBZ soundtrack from the 80s. I think Seiya's sounds much better for more because, I don't know, there were moments in the old DBZ thing where the music just didn't much fit, if you remember. That's just my opinion, at least. But yeah, Seiya's got a really good soundtrack. I still think it holds up decently. Yeah. And I guess, as a whole, for the story purposes, without going too heavily into spoilers yet, give everyone warning when you do it. Other than a few of the filler episodes that you can tell are filler, I'd say it did a great job on the story with the same team we're on. The other
there
DVDs.
is one arc that is only filler, and you know which one that is.
Yeah, we haven't gotten that arc yet, so that's why I'm not going to review that in particular, because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, because that's the filler arc right there.
But, yeah.
But they touched that in another Saint Seiya, which is Gold Saint Seiya, basically, or something like that. Soul of Gold. Then they make that canon, but I'm not going to get into much of the details and not going to spoil stuff. I can get into I can really get into heavy spoilers, so I'm just gonna zip my mouth and...
Yeah, it's kind of the reason I got you on this one, because you know way more about Saint Seiya than I do. This is my first time experiencing it. I did track down some of the old ADV DVDs after I was watching it on Netflix, but I've yet to watch those, which is why we're not talking about that stuff quite yet. In fact, I think my first exposure to Saint Seiya was when you told me that Demon Sanctuary battle back in 2012, 2011.
Yep.
Because even then, I couldn't really read the subtitles, so I was just playing it like a Dynasty Warriors game.
Well, technically, it was like it's like a Dynasty. It's now the newer ones are like a setup like
Naruto Storm.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. We're getting a bit off topic, though. Point is, before we go into spoiler territory discussing the plot of the first 70-plus episodes, I definitely recommend checking out Saint Seiya. The new dub is exclusive to Netflix. Unfortunately, the old ADV dub is lost to time for anyone that was curious, so not much you can really do on that unless you want to pick it up.
That is very well locked in key, unless if you go to eBay, find somebody that's willing to sell the thing for about 1,000 to 3,000. That's what I saw
it's
last time.
insanely priced on eBay. It really is.
Oh, even though Japanese Blu-rays of it are very atrocious on Play Asia. Last time I saw it, it was $600.
That's the thing. Before we get into the spoilers, I guess we'll talk about licensing. This show. Again, Eastern Star and Discotex versions before the subtitle only releases are now out of print, so owning this on physical media is next to impossible. And that's my biggest gripe with Netflix. Stuff out on physical media mostly, but I guess more on that rant at a later date. Regardless, I highly recommend everyone check out Saint Seiya. That's basically the sound of it. It's got a great story. It's really interesting to see where shonen inspiration came from. This was one of the biggest inspirations for Bleach, Naruto, and a lot of the other greats. I mean, Hyoga, who uses ice, even uses an ice mirror. Does that sound familiar to anyone who's seen Naruto? But alright, I guess we'll get into spoilers. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, then call me back out now. And... why is this game doing this? Stop it. Yeah. So, were there any things you had an issue with the story as a whole?
Mostly the filler.
Well, the main fillers that I saw in the beginning were when they, Pope Ares would send out the, some of the Bronze Sage, like, the Dolphin Stain, which I thought was amazing. He's filler. It's pretty obvious he's filler. I think it was the Steel Saint too, and a lot of the other ones that are like, okay, I think this is hilarious, but this is also kind of stupid. It makes no sense with what they were doing before. There was also, honestly, my favorite fight was actually between Kiryu and Medusa. Remember that one?
Oh,
this one was a filler.
Oh yeah, the one with the Medusa shield, wasn't it?
Yeah, where Kiryu actually had to gouge out his own eyes to fight him.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was like, this is fucking awesome! Like, holy shit.
Like I said, it's like... there's a lot of other plot points I could point out too.
Like... I think and they actually left him blind for like the next 30 to 40 episodes. It was obvious he was gonna get his sight back, but I was hoping he kind of wouldn't, because I thought that was really interesting. They did interesting stuff where, if you remember when he went into the Gemini Temple in the Sanctuary War arc, Shiryu was the only one who could get through the illusions because he was blind, so he couldn't see them.
Right.
And again,
I thought one thing I got to say after you get done.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was a wasted thing to give him his sight back that early. I knew they would, because they obviously were going to, but still, I guess it was nice to have a show that's over 30 years ago be one of the only shonen anime to have blind representation, even if it was only one thing. So what were you gonna say?
There are a few caveats about their cloth. One, they can only use their cloth is when they're threatened, or they're to protect Athena, basically. If they don the armor without any threat, it can literally kill them.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Zanpakuto and Bleach. Their armor have their own personalities, kind of, like they are sentient.
Another thing is, if the armor gets too damaged, the cloth can actually die. And the only way they can repair the cloth is if the saint gives up half of his blood.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of really cool stuff in Saint Seiya, and you can definitely see the inspiration there.
Yeah, you can see the friendship develop between Shiryu and Seiya.
Yeah, and Shun, you can tell, is definitely inspiration for Kurapika from Hunter x Hunter. I mean, someone who's very feminine or androgynous, who wields chains. I mean, I wonder where Hunter x Hunter got that from.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what the creator said about the reason why he made Shun the way he was. He wanted him as a flamboyant male protagonist for the flamboyant people around the world. Makes him, you know, the first ever transcending character, basically, as I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
He was trying to please the other crowds, so that's why he made Shun the way he is. And that's why a lot of people are having a fit with the other way Netflix did it with their remake.
Yeah, I went on about this in the discussion about Evangelion. Netflix, it's ironic that they're trying to pull the woke card when it almost looks like they have a thing against the gay people. Because, I mean, with Evangelion, Kaoru, if you remember the angel, they changed his whole thing.
Yeah, he's supposed to be swinging the other way.
Yeah, and Shun, it's the same thing in their remake. They turned Shun into a woman, and it's very bizarre.
I just don't understand why they do stuff like that. They think they're gonna shield people from that, but it's just, come on now, people.
Yeah.
Be nice, play nice.
Yeah, the next. This is the bizarre thing. The next arc, the Asgard arc, which that's the filler arc.
Yes.
Goku, you said you saw it there, right? On January 1st? But then they took it down?
Yeah, so it was up there and then they took it down because there was...
Yeah, it was really weird. It was, there were other people saying the same thing online from what I could tell some of the comments. So,
yeah,
I guess that means it's
like
already all dubbed in theory, and they're just slowly releasing it.
Yes, they are. Like I said, Seiya spans across a lot of different animes. And I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah. Again, as they come out, we'll get into them. Obviously, at some point, we'll cover Lost Canvas, which is dubbed.
Lost Cavanosis, or whatever hell people want to...
Yeah,
I call it Lost Canvas.
Cavanos, I don't know. I'm hoping Netflix will also dub the Saint Seiya spin-off movies. Like, I'm hoping they go full on Sailor Moon with this, where they dub the entire
I think Toei finally let go of the reins of the licensing and finally gave it to somebody else to try with the dub. They're actually trying to give people a chance with the dub. And
for those of you out there that are like, oh god, I don't want to get into the dub. One of them might be one of those people from the dub. No, none of the people involved in any of the stuff from last year in the new dub on Netflix. So you don't have to worry about that. So, regardless, though, I really enjoyed my time with Saint Seiya. Definitely going to continue watching it as they add more. Season 2 of the reboot comes out next week at the time of this. I don't know, man. I don't think I'm very hyped for that.
You have fun touching that. I'm staying 10-foot pole away from that. Don't very much. As soon as I watched the first episode, I nope, I can't stand it. Because they got the backstory all wrong with Seiya. They got everything wrong. They got everything effed up.
Oh, no. Well... rest of the way, Saint Seiya, would I call it a masterpiece? I don't know. I think there are parts of it that are amazing that every shonen fan should see and every anime fan. It is definitely a historical landmark. Seiya, North Star, and DBZ were the three pillars of shonen, and I'd say Saint Seiya is at least worth watching, so you can see where the roots of shonen came from. That way you know where the authors of Naruto, Bleach, and all the other modern shonens got their inspiration. But yeah,
I know the first inspiration that got me into anime was DBZ, and then when I went back and watched all the other stuff, and then when I heard about the other stuff in the 80s, and I just sat down and just literally just watched Fist of the North Star.
hopefully that'll get a new dub at some point.
What was that one with the... I forgot what it's called.
Ronin
Warriors.
Oh, Ronin Warriors, yeah.
Yeah, that was like another thing that was like almost like Saint Seiya in a type thing, but with there was Ronin armors, and then there's another one I'm trying to think of. Yeah, Ronin Kenshin. And then there's another one. There's been so many different 80 enemies out there.
Yeah, and a lot of them are coming back, thankfully. North Star, I think, is the only one of the only legendary anime from back then.
We only got season 1 dub, that's it. That's the only thing we got was the dub, was a little bit of season 1, and that's it.
Well, I'm hoping someone will get the rights to that so they can dub it. You know, maybe Netflix or Viz.
Well, I have a funny feeling that Netflix gets a hold of it, and then they're going to change a certain character to a male, and then the other character to a female.
That's only if they reboot it, which hopefully they don't. I don't know. I hope Netflix is listening to what the fandom was saying about the Saint Seiya reboot. Again, cover more on that in the future. Because just for those of you out there wondering, where should I go, the reboot or the original? Stay away from the reboot. Just go to the original.
See, I watched the original so much I can't even sit there and watch the new one because I'm so faithful to the original. I am a stubborn mule. I will not watch the new ones. I'm sorry, but I'm stubborn. If somebody says, "Oh, you just don't like it because you like the original," well, it's my opinion and not yours.
Yeah, and take it from me. I watched the reboot, then went back to the original, guys. So I don't have nostalgia for Saint Seiya. I'm a new fan, and I can tell you the reboot is
there are a lot of people that was nostalgia, and them are the people review bombing the hell out of the thing on Netflix because there are purists out there that stick to that and the manga.
Well, the thing is, and we're not just saying it because it's a reboot, it's automatically bad. No, because again, anyone who's watched over on Guy's stream, when we did the DMC reboot, I actually said I was one of the few people that didn't like the reboot over there. I actually kind of like the DMC reboot. Is it amazing? No, but I'll point out its good qualities. The Saint Seiya reboot, on the other hand, it's really hard to point out a lot of good things about it. They condense like 20 to 25 episodes down to 6. It made a lot of bizarre choices. And it makes it redundant when there's the Legend of Sanctuary recap film. So if they were just trying to tell a recap story, it just needs to be there.
I know this is a little bit off topic, but there's one game that I regret ever playing on the PS4. And you know what that is?
Oh, no. Oh, J-Star. Does it have a say in it?
Yeah. That's the only reason why I was so hyped for that game, because I had Seiya in it.
Yeah, Jump Force has Seiya and Shiryu in it.
Yeah, I haven't even got Jump Force. I saw that a local Walmart a few back in the bargain bin for $20. I should have picked it up, but I didn't.
Well, I guess back on topic real quick. Who is your favorite character in Saint Seiya?
Well, there's quite a bit. There's Seiya. Then there's... Oh, shoot. I know it's one of the Gold Saints.
Oh, one of the Zodiacs?
Yeah, it's one of the...
What was his ability?
Gold Saints.
Do you remember what his ability was?
Oh, I know. It's the one that it's Mew, the Crystal Ares, the one that used the crystal wall.
Oh,
That's
him.
it.
Yeah, I thought he was cool too.
And there's one more. I know I'm going to get a lot of slack for this, but I really like the Gemini Saint because, split personality.
Yeah, no, he was really. That's like I really liked him as an antag.
Yeah,
I think him and Iki had the most
personality.
interesting
Right.
backstories. Because Iki also, everything that happened to him was really messed up.
Or as other people would probably be bitching about, it's Nero. No, it's not. It's Iki.
Reboot. Reboot.
Yeah, that's one thing about the reboot is they changed everybody's name. They even changed the organization's name and all this other stuff.
Yeah, as far as me, I can't find a character I disliked. If I had to say one character, I guess the one I found least interesting as of right now that I think needs to be built more upon, which it probably will be in the future, again, I haven't seen everything, is probably Hyoga. I like his abilities, I think he's cool. It's just compared to everyone else's backstories and character arcs we've seen on them, like Shiryu, Shun, Iki, even Seiya.
Oh yeah! That's another thing is they made a CG movie.
Yeah,
and they
Legend of
changed
Sanctuary.
one of the gold. Yeah, and they changed one of the gold saints to a female.
I think I heard something about that.
That was Scorpio. Nero, whatever heck you want to call it. They changed that person to female.
Okay, if they dub that movie and Tag is playing a female, I will find that hilarious and kind of amazing, actually.
I have to, next time when we get around to that, I'll look it up and make sure my facts are straight, because I think they did change one of the characters in there to female.
Alright guys, it's going on a bit. There we go. Scorpion killed that person, so I think it's a perfect time to leave it there. We'll be back with more Saint Seiya discussion, probably either on the ADV dub, or I'll be back with the reboot after torturing myself with it. Or Lost Cavanos, whatever comes next. Maybe we'll be back with the Asgard arc whenever they put that out and talk about who the new VAs are.
I think probably about March.
Probably. Those of you that stuck around through all the spoilers, sorry if we spoiled anything major, but we did warn you all. And yeah.
Oh, believe me, I can go like full Nelson on this crap if I wanted to, but no. I'll leave it to other people to watch it.
Just go check out Saint Seiya, guys. I highly recommend it. It's definitely one of the all-time greats. I see why people hyped it up. It's a great show, especially when you get to the Sanctuary arc. Because I know people are going to point out like episodes 16 to 30 or so are a bit of a slow burn because that's where the filler saints show up. But just make it past that. Trust me, it's really good. It is worth it. But all right, I was Elvis X, and you were
Manslayer Goku, the
this
one and only that vanishes from the face of the earth.
And this is our first episode of the series that we called Dubster Dive, where we break down anime, dubs, and everything else like that. So be back with more anime at some point in the future, guys.
Games, maybe.
Yep.
We'll see.
Till next time, guys. See ya. Bye!